What does the next 3 to 5 years look like for Storybook Boutique?
Yeah, so first off, we signed a 3-year lease in this space. Our landlord is 92 years old. She's so sweet. I love, we've had such a good experience with them and with our neighbors who've been here for 40 years. They've just been so kind. So we really hit the lottery with the space that we're in now. I never really have had to let someone go, let alone someone that I, trusted and deeply care about. And it was very heartbreaking. But I do think that it's part of the job that I chose.
If current present day Sophia could go back and give 5 years ago Sophia any sort of words of wisdom on running and starting this company, what would that be?
Wow. Honestly, this is something I've never thought about.
What is going on, everybody? Walter Hooper, owner of Hooper Marketing, host of Marketing Minds Meet, and I'm just gonna get right into it. This is a very special episode. All episodes are special, but this one in particular is gonna hold a very special place in the archives of Marketing Minds Meet, because we are not only on site for our featured guests. New venue here in Grosse Pointe Woods, the Storybook Boutique, but this is also this individual's not first, not second, not third, but fourth appearance on this program, and it's wild that we have had such a rapport and such a great working relationship and personal relationship that it's they've been featured on the show 4 times, and so. Needless to say, I am thrilled and honored to have this person and this individual on the program. This is someone who has just, you want to talk about, and it's, as I like to say in my spiels, upping the ante with their, not just their marketing, but just their overall company. They have done that and more, and there's still much more for them to do now that they have this new venue at the Storybook Boutique. I am thrilled and honored to host and excited to have on here for the 4th time Sofia Kirkman, owner of the Storybook Boutique and part of your World Princess company. What is up, Sofia?
Hello, what's up? I'm back. You didn't get rid of me.
Yeah, no, I mean that was never going to be the case.
True.
I mean, we
You're not getting rid of me that easily.
No, of course not. But so much has happened for you. You've had some really high highs, but there have been some low lows within the last year or so. I'm gonna stop gabbing for right now, and I'm gonna give you the floor for those that are not aware of who you are and what the Storybook Boutique and or part of your World Princess company is. First, who are you? What is your business?
Yeah. So hi everybody. My name is Sofia Kirkman. I'm also getting over a cold right now, so you're gonna have to excuse my voice for the rest of this episode. But I own part of your World Princess company and the Storybook Boutique. We are a professional princess party and event company based in Grosse Pointe Woods, Michigan. And literally, like 2 weeks ago, at the time of recording this, we opened our very first, not our very first, because we had an old location for the Storybook Boutique, but our very first, standalone retail store. And that is where we're filming today. It is so beautiful. I love it so much. But we host birthday parties, we host story times with the princess, and we have retail shopping all in the heart of Grosse Pointe Woods.
I love it. So let's walk through the process of how you happen to find this place. What is the journey, the story of the Storybook Boutique, and how this came to be?
I will say it was very serendipitous the way that we came across this venue. It had been on the market for 5 days. When we snatched it up. So it was, I personally feel like it was meant for us. I think it was meant to be. My wonderful father actually passed away the day that I was going to sign the lease. So I've been, grieving the entire time that we've been here. And even though he never got to see this building, I definitely think that he is here with us, and I have his picture right behind the desk. So he is, he's all over this place. It's really has been the product of so many people that I love. And yeah.
Yeah, well, I first and foremost, I know I've said it many a times, but again, the passing of your father was just so sudden, and you know, again, I cannot express enough condolences up to this point. But I know, like you said, he is, you know, I feed off of energy and things of that nature, you know, just getting a feel for what's going on, and I can definitely tell and feel that Jeff, your father is here. His spirit is ever present in this place, and I know he wanted you to have this, and he also was one of the most supportive foundations of you and your company. So, you know, he is here. He is here.
Absolutely.
So you've opened this new venue now. Mm-hmm. So what, right out the gate, what are some things that you've been wanting to promote and push, and, you know, just now that you have this new space, what are some things that you want to put out there? Do you want to have, you know, I noticed there's some cool retail things here. There's, you know, you've been having some bookings, already booking some events that have sold out, which is amazing. Yeah. So that's a huge props and congrats to you. So what's on the agenda? Let's just say for 2025. Like, what's the 2025 agenda look like for
the 2026 agenda?
Or I'm sorry. See, this is where my brain. I mean, yeah. It's been a long day, people. That. Forgive me, but the 2026 agenda. Yes. The 2026 agenda for the Storybook Boutique, what does that look like?
I will say, now that we have our own space, I am very eager to get a lot of people in here, like not just clients and customers, but other small business owners that I love. Just off the top of my head, like we have like a certified ear piercer who is going to come in and do like professional ear piercing, so no more guns at Claire's, like those days are done. So they won't have to go through the trauma that we all did as children. But we also have like dance classes and professionals who are going to come in. Hair tinsel too. I don't know if you can see on the camera, but I've had a lot of people ask about that. We have like a matcha bar that's been here for our princess story time, so the moms can get a little coffee. There's been a lot of collaborations happening already, but I'm really, really excited for what's to come the rest of this year.
Oh, 1,000%. And I could already tell that, you know, just from everything that you've done, you and your, you know, and your team have just put so much sweat equity into this, you know, alongside you. So it as it say, it takes a team.
It does. Takes a village.
Mm-hmm. It sure does. But so now that you have this new venue, you know, this is Marketing Minds Meet. We are gonna get into some marketing things here. So you have this new space. So what has been and what will be some of the big pushes marketing wise that you want to accomplish with the Storybook Boutique? What does the 2026? See, I got it right that time. Go. The 2026 digital marketing or just overall marketing campaign look like for this place?
Honestly, we have something that we've never really had before, which is a storefront that kind of does its own marketing, because we are in such a walkable area of the city. We have had people just drive by and then immediately park their cars and come in because they want to see what's going on. We live in such a tight-knit community that even while we were renovating, no signage was up, no indication of what we were. People would, peek their heads in and be like, what's going on in here? Like, what's coming into the community? And that's been something that I feel like is the best kind of marketing, is like, come in and see for yourself. Like, come to our events. They are very affordably priced too. So we get a lot of people in the door who maybe aren't sure what to expect, but once they see us, they're in. So I think that's the newest sort of marketing strategy that I've been trying to take advantage of, because that's something we've never really had, so that is the foot traffic part of it. But we also have started back up our Instagram for the Storybook Boutique. It is separate from Part of Your World Princess Co. And it's kind of like a a very dialed in version of our bigger account that we have. So I show up a lot on stories. I always feel kind of weird like posting myself on the business account, but I feel a little bit more comfortable on the smaller account. There's like, I think there's about 500 or so followers on that one. So I feel like it's a little bit more intimate, a little bit more like I'm able to share like, hey, we're open today, you know, come stop in and see me, versus with the Princess Party account, I kind of feel like, oh, there has to be this illusion of like, you know, we're all just princesses all the time, nobody's here, like, you know, I kind of didn't want to break that immersion of like, you know, hey, this is me in my sweats, like answering your emails, like, no, I wanted to keep it as like Elsa just magically knows to show up at your door and like, you know, like that TikTok trend of like doing things that people think a fairy does and they're just like refilling shit or like whatever. That's what I feel like it is, where it's like these parties just happen, you know. I'm not a part of it, but even though I am entirely a part of it.
I mean, it is part of your world.
It is, yes. So it's been interesting that I feel like I can be a little bit more casual, a little bit more like, you know, personal. So I'm leaning into that. We're seeing how it works. I've actually had several people like recognize me too, which I'm totally not used to. And sometimes they recognize me and say, oh, you were a princess at my party. And I was like, I'm like, undercover right now as like an actual person. But yeah, it's been nice to try something new that I haven't really felt very comfortable doing before.
Yeah.
Which maybe I shouldn't, but yeah.
Well, yeah, and also I think, like you said, to your point, it's one of those things where, you know, you have two different entities now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have the main one, part of your world, princess,
Yeah.
which, again, like you said, you're trying to showcase that, hey, like this is a magical place. This is a place where, you know, we make, you know, dreams come true with the kids.
Yeah.
and their Disney princess, you know, needs and what have you. And then with this, on the other hand, it's okay, we host these kinds of things, but we do
you can
more.
Just come in any time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And
Yeah.
this is a walk-in. This is and again, as far as the marketing goes, I mean, I know for a fact, because I've driven by here many a times, and I've witnessed, you know, people walk by and look through the window or
Yeah.
like just stop in and I mean that's. And it's new. I think when there's something new in town,
Yeah.
and especially in an area like this where it's so tight knit.
Yeah.
It's very tight knit. As I say, it's a
Yeah.
bubble. It's definitely a bubble. You know, you have something where, you know, that people can flock to. Okay, so you have that. So there's all these exciting things happening, but I do understand too that, you know, right before you open this wonderful venue, you did have to make a very tough decision business-wise within your staff and in-house team. Can you kind of walk me through that process of, okay, what did it take to have to reach that conclusion, and how has that experience shaped you now in your journey as an entrepreneur and as a business owner and as a leader?
Yeah, we had a bit of a staff shakeup right before we opened. It was one of the most difficult decisions I've ever had to make. I didn't eat for like 3 days. I was, you know, so anxious. I was physically shaking. Like, it was pretty rough. But I think the way that I have come out of that feeling is really a testament to who I've wanted and needed to be for a really long time, but I just felt like I couldn't. And even talking about it just makes me feel like really, you know, I'm like, I just don't, I can't, like, it's a lot. But I will say, I never really have had to let someone go, let alone someone that I, you know, trusted and deeply care about. And it was very heartbreaking. But I do think that it's part of the job that I chose. And I didn't start this company thinking, oh, I can't wait to fucking fire people. But it is a part of being a boss. Yeah, go ahead.
No, please continue.
Yeah.
Well,
I think it's something I kind of took for granted because I do have a really amazing team. Our turnover rate isn't extremely low. Usually the only time that people leave the company is if they physically move away and turn into a seasonal employee, or they can't work anymore because they're physically not here. Or they were my high school friends that I kind of forced into doing this. Shout out Katie and Claire, love you guys. But I think it's a little bit of a rite of passage too, that I needed to find it within myself, the confidence to know and trust my gut and, trust how I can do my job, that I am worthy to be here, that I have the skills that it takes, that I've always had those skills. I think it's a shame that I ever let anyone make me think that I didn't. But it was certainly very jarring. It was very upsetting. But I think it's something that needed to happen. I believe in divine timing. I don't think anything is a coincidence. I still have a lot of respect and love for this person. I think things happen the way that they're supposed to happen. I've always believed in that kind of divine timing.
Yeah. This is one of those things where when you do take on not only just a role of being the owner of a business and your own company, but especially when you have a team and a staff that you are responsible for, that you are there to be the prime example. Sometimes it takes certain circumstances and situations that happen that you have to make some very, very hard calls. And I remember chatting with you about this situation a little bit, and we're not going to name any names because this is just but what I will say is when I heard part of what had happened, and I don't know everything, and I'm not supposed to know everything. That's your business. That's your, you got to deal with that.
Yeah.
But what I was informed of, that I was just like, wow, I get that it's hard, and this was someone that had been with you since pretty much the beginning.
Yeah.
So that makes it even more difficult, but it needed to happen. And when that did go down, I felt bad for you because that's not an easy thing to do. I know
right.
people like to say, yes, I wear the black and I wore the black hat and everything, but like exactly to your point that you said, I never got into this just so I could fire someone.
Right.
Like that. You essentially you are dictating someone's career path, and this was something that I felt for you, and I know it was a bit of a shakeup, but like you said, divine timing. I'm a fully believer things happen for a reason. Yeah. I think it needed to happen, and now because of it, I would like to think, I know that you've been, you've learned a lot from it. You're dealing with other things now because of it, but I think it also gives you a different perspective, and you're looking at things. You now look at through a different lens with things, and I would also hope for this individual's sake, that can be something that they take with them as well as a learning experience, and as a, you know, we don't know why things like this happen, but it happened, and it had to have happened for a reason. So, you know, I know you don't wish any ill will on this individual. I know
Absolutely.
that's not you. That's not who you are. So, but I am, I in a weird way, I am kind of proud that you had to do, not for the fact of firing this person, but the fact that you stuck to your guns.
Yeah.
You stuck to your guns, and you did what you felt was right for you and your business,
Yeah.
your company, your venue,
Mm-hmm.
your team. And while some of them may not understand that, you know, at the end of the day, it's still your final call.
Yeah.
So, props to you.
Thank you. It took me years, I think, to even get to a place where I could even believe in my own decision-making skills. And I think it's a very hard way to learn that I have always had this ability, that I have always been deserving of respect and care, and, you know, my depression brain likes to lie to me a lot. I have a lot of insecurities about, you know, just being a business owner in general. Everybody does, but to me, they're just, you know, under a magnifying glass, because I went in with those insecurities anyway before I was even had a thought of being a business owner. So that's something, you know, I'm actively working on, and I'm by no means perfect. I always say, you know, at every training, every fitting, it's like, I've been doing this for 5 years now. I know a lot, but I don't know everything. And I believe you're never done learning. I'm never going to be the perfect boss. I'm always going to, you know, be liable to make mistakes, and, you know, I lead with the best intentions. Sometimes it doesn't work out that way, that it's, you know, people get hurt, things get misconstrued. It is what it is. But I think knowing where I'm coming from, which is never with a place of malice, even when, you know, I've been going through the hardest, most absolutely devastating season of my life, you know, I would never purposely try to harm someone, especially someone who is close to me. But it's, I think grief has magnified a lot of my shortcomings, and that's a very hard thing to deal with. But also, there is confidence in admitting that too, that, you know, it's almost freeing to say, I don't know everything. I'm never going to be perfect, but I am always trying my best. I'm always going to try my best. If I have 10% to give, I will always give that 10%. Trust. Like, I feel like I always try to do my best for the people that I love, and sometimes it's not enough, but I also know that you'll never be enough for the wrong person. So.
Oh man! Oh, that was a hard-hitting.
Yeah, sorry to sneak that one in there.
Right in the feels,
Yeah.
and that doesn't happen very often with me. You know, yeah, you touched on something too that really resonated. Knowing that, you know, you were not perfect. Mm-hmm. None of us are. And if you think you are, then you're
fucking lying.
Yeah. Go get help.
Yeah.
But you know, you're only human, right? Mm-hmm. You do things the best of your capabilities, and you don't know everything. You and especially in what you do, not only just running this business now for coming up on 5 years, but, you know, also being in this industry. I mean, I know we've said in episodes past, like, this can be a very, very daunting industry, and it can really do things to people psychologically if it's, you know, if they're being told certain things, or they're being, directed to do things that maybe might not necessarily be in the best comfort zone and not in the helpful growth way, in the creepy,
like unsafe way.
Right.
Yeah.
So, for you to be able to take all of that knowledge and that wisdom and to try to, again, you're doing your best. Like, I know you're doing your best, and sometimes what they say, sometimes your best isn't always enough for somebody that doesn't necessarily understand or get it, and it and plus the pressures of just having this place be opening up, and then also, like you said, with the grief that you were and still are dealing with, like it's just, there's a lot, and it's just it can be a bitch sometimes. Like but things happen for a reason. You wish this individual the best, and
Right.
there is, it things happen for a reason. So here we are now. We're at the Storybook Boutique. So let's get into a little bit of let's get. Normally I would get into a little bit of a dark side, but I don't know. For right now I'm kind of.
It's pretty bright.
It is pretty bright. The light is kind of capturing the ambiance and the atmosphere. But so okay, you just opened this up now. So let's go into the 3 to 5 years. Where do you want to see the growth of this venue in the next 3 to 5 years? What does that look like? Do you want to expand, either open up a new location, either here in the Points or maybe somewhere elsewhere in Metro Detroit, or do you want to see if there's a way that you could expand part of this building itself, if it's permitted? What does the next 3 to 5 years look like for Storybook Boutique?
Yeah, so first off, we signed a 3-year lease in this space. And our landlord is 92 years old. She's so sweet. I love, we've had such a good experience with them and with our neighbors who've been here for 40 years. They've just been so kind. So we really hit the lottery with the space that we're in now. I will say, like, financially, location-wise, literally perfect for us. So I can't see myself completely giving up on this space when our lease is up. I would say my only thing about this space is that it is a little bit small. It's very intimate, and that means our events are very small and very intimate, which is fine. We can hold about 10 kids per event or per party. But I do have, like, my big dreams, if I ever hit the lottery, or if, this really does take off, which it has been already, I would love to expand. I would love even a slightly bigger space. I think that's, like, my immediate goal is expanding to have, like, a princess, getting ready area, because we still have the majority of our storage at my house, which is like 2 blocks away. So I think that's the only thing on my mind that has been, like, it's not been an issue, but it's like checking something off a wish list, I would say, is like a bigger space.
Okay. All right. So bigger space for some bigger and more involved events.
Yeah.
I like it. So I did think of a dark side.
Okay. Hit me with it.
Especially in any industry, I'll use mine for example. As much as I like to think that, I have my own entity and I am the ruler of the roost and what have you in my region of business, I know I am not. Mm-hmm. I know there are other agencies, other companies, other solopreneurs that either do what I do or they're in a similar field, but so on and so forth. I understand that as of recently, there seems to be another company out there that seems to, I think, try to mirror what you're doing. And I'm curious to hear what makes the Storybook Boutique and part of your World Princess company, what makes it stand out from others in the industry, and even others that might even want to call this area, this territory, their home as well?
I would say our experience and our quality speaks for itself. Just one look, just one event will tell you the difference between someone who has performance experience, a company who has trained performers, a company who has a solid foundation, versus, something that is kind of hastily thrown together, or something that, not really sure how this industry works, what's going on, or, let's just get someone to dress up in like a Halloween costume to be Elsa. Like, the difference is palpable in every aspect. And although I will say, literally in this room, we have still flowers from one of my competitors in the industry, which, by the way, I can probably count the number of reputable companies in the entire state on one hand. So this is a very niche, very, very niche industry. But it's also very expensive and very difficult if you want to do it right. So a lot of people do take shortcuts. There are a lot of companies that, just don't really care about what they put out, or they've kind of gotten in over their head and they don't really know how to like keep up with the demand of what they're doing and make sure that quality is consistent. Because, even just styling wigs alone, we've gotten several of our wigs professionally styled, but I used to do them all myself. There are a ton of very niche skills that you learn when you're in this industry that, it's very clear to me if someone does not have those skills or did not think to invest in things like that. I will say I have two competition in the area that I'm relatively close with. They're very kind. We refer gigs to each other all the time, and I send them all my mascot bookings because I don't want to do mascots. And it's like the two things I will not do are mascots and Memorial Day parades. They know this. But I think, unless you are actively being shitty or just being hostile, being mean girl energy, chances are you're probably going to run into somebody that in this industry. We're probably going to fucking run into each other. There's not that many, established companies in the entire state. So it can get to be mean girl energy sometimes in this industry, which is shocking to me that people who have been so nasty can work with children for a living. But then again, it's some bullies don't grow up, they just get bigger. So that's something I've had to learn. And you can be a mom and be a bully. You can be way older than double my age almost and be a bully. It's being a mean girl doesn't discriminate anymore. It's not just for high schoolers. It is, I've seen the worst of it, honestly. But I will say something that sets us apart is it is palpable how much we care in every single aspect. Not even just the stuff that you see, the things that you don't see, the training, the character attendance, all of the things that we do for our performers, making sure they're not driving to your party in a hoop skirt by themselves, making sure that they have photos of your party so you don't have to watch your party through your iPhone. There are so many things that we do that have our clients in mind, but also our staff in mind. So the beauty of it all is just one small aspect of what it takes to run a company like this successfully and stay open. I will say, I forget what the statistic is, but it's something crazy where most, 90% of small businesses fail before they get to 2 years. And I don't even know what the statistic is, but it's very small of how many small businesses make it to 5 or 10 years. We are celebrating our 5-year anniversary this year.
Yes, and congratulations.
Thank you. But
yeah,
it's not just something, we're not just a bunch of pretty girls in pretty dresses and makeup. We are trained professionals. Most of us have degrees in musical theater. We have been in this industry for so long. We have so much expertise, so much knowledge. People have been Disney princesses at the parks. We have the exact same training as the face characters do at Disney World. Don't tell the mouse, but I have the documentation. But, we take it so seriously. It is not just like a teenager in a costume just being nice to your child. That is Belle from Beauty and the Beast. Like, that is Cinderella. Like, that is Elsa. And there's no doubt, for all ages, not just for the kids. The parents don't have to, just pretend that the magic is real because your 3-year-old thinks it is. No. Even the adults are excited to meet us. They know that this is it. So, yeah.
So one thing that there's so much to there's so much to dissect with that, and thank you for sharing all that, because I bring this up because what I've noticed now for the coming up on 5 years of you starting this company, and really there's a certain craft, there's a certain finesse, there's a very fine attention to detail in not only just the characters themselves that your performers are playing as and providing this experience for kids and parties and what have you, but I have witnessed you brushing the wigs. I have witnessed you like making sure that the costumes are in tip-top shape, that they're not wrinkled, they're not ruined, and I know that I believe they are custom tailored, like they are handmade. So everything from like she's saying, the wigs, the costumes, the way that the performers
carry themselves
exactly.
And we sing live, by the way.
Yes.
We could about let it go. So, no backing tracks here.
No, and this is just, again, this is one of those things where I like attention to detail and craft, and I notice it's very noticeable right away that there is, but to me that says that comes from a deep sense of care and love for what you do, and being in this industry, as tough as it might be sometimes. Like, you don't make it for 5 years being in business with if you didn't give a shit. Right. And it's clearly she gives a shit and more.
I give a little bit too much of a shit. I think I'm a little bit too much of a perfectionist.
Well, we are both Aries, so we do have that kind of
it
fire.
Comes out a little bit,
but again, I think like you said, you got other competitors or other companies that do what you do, but you are able to play nice with them. But for the ones that maybe you want to play nice, but they don't necessarily, that's on them.
Yeah,
that's on them. That's their problem. That's their, to me, that shows a severe level of insecurity and I'd say even self-doubt, and even doing what they do.
Well, I would even say, like, I think a lot of people think, well, maybe not a lot of people, but certain people think, oh, they charge $400 an hour. I could do that. I could dress up like that. But can you provide $400 worth of value in an hour? This is not just, the going rate for the industry. I would say we're fairly expensive. But we have the knowledge, the skills, the reputation, everything to back it up. And that is, the difference between someone who maybe sees this as like a quick way to make some money, like, just hiring in like some teenagers and handing them a Halloween costume and saying, like, you know, you can do this, whatever, just be nice to these kids for an hour. No, like, we are, you know, we have put so much thought and care, and honestly, we have put in so much time that it's like, you know, for just your 1 hour party, your performer's already been getting ready for an hour before, at least. Like, the corset that Elsa wears now retails for like $900, you know, like that's just the corset that she wears. That's not even the skirt, the cape, and the wig. Girl, like, you know, we have invested. I have invested in this company, in this business.
Yeah.
Not only just monetarily, but time-wise and expertise. And literally, you know, my performers have degrees in musical theater. They can sing their face off, and we love what we do, and it is palpable. So I will say, and there are plenty of companies in the area that also are like that. I wouldn't say plenty, but there's like, you know, there's not even that many companies to begin with, but I have people I feel comfortable referring my clients to that are not us, that maybe they offer characters that we don't offer, you know, like maybe they offer mascots, maybe they offer superheroes. Love that. And there's honestly room for everyone to win. And I think what's been concerning is that I feel like certain people may have like put me or my company on a pedestal, or, you know, maybe they think we're bigger than we are. Maybe they think that it's like, you know, I don't know what they think, but I'm here to set the record straight. Let me turn to camera and say this. I am 24 years old. Yeah, I am 24 years old. I live with my mom. I watch Jeopardy on weeknights and I go to bed before midnight. I am not as fucking interesting as you think I am. Like, for people to be like dissecting things or just like, you know, literally stalking my personal pages. Like, I had to make my Facebook private for the first time since I was a teenager. Like, it's, you know, I feel like there's no reason for that. Please just shoot me an email. I'm here all the time. Like, I love making friends in the industry. And if your business practices are what they should be, which, you know, as long as you're not like being racist, homophobic, all these other, you know, weird things, or just putting your characters in unsafe situations, hell yeah, girl. Let's go get a coffee. But
you heard it.
Sorry. But I feel like when people start, you know, this has happened so many times in the past 5 years, where people will take my events word for word. Big local organizations, by the way. I would name drop because it wouldn't even matter because they're so big. But it's like, you know, taking my events word for word, like trying to, you know, undercut me or just like take inspiration from me. Like, girl, I've seen it all. It's, you know, it's not like I was a 19-year-old kid in my dorm room when I started this company. I feel like if people knew that, they wouldn't be acting the way that they are. And it's like, you know, I'm very proud of what we've built, but I feel like, you know, I'm just a girl. I'm literally, at the end of the day, I'm just a girl. I am just doing my job. Like, I love what I do. I'm glad that people think, you know, oh, they go to one of our events and think, oh, I can do that. Or like, you know, that's not that hard. Talk to me in 5 years, because it's not all sunshine, rainbows, and pixie dust over here. And when it gets hard, you need something that's going to anchor you in why you started this business. And I'm going to tell you right now, wanting to make a quick buck is not going to take you through those difficult moments. So that's just my 2 cents. But yeah, hire us. We do a good job. That's pretty much it. That's my very long-winded way of saying, like, I care a lot. You should hire us. We're worth it. You know, we have all 5-star reviews. Like, you know, that's it.
Yeah, hire us. I love it. There's your PSA for the night.
And also, I watch Jeopardy with my mom.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's where you can find me at 7 p.m. on a Thursday. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. No, I It's one of those things, yeah, where it's just when you really break it down like that, and you help explain it in layman's terms. Yeah, there's so many layers that go with running something like running anything like this, and it's just one of those things where you're doing your best, and you like you said, and just like in marketing, there's enough business to go around for everybody, but if you're gonna be shitty about it, then what's going on,
Right.
like why are we doing this? So I think you're doing everything that you need to do. You are embarking on a 5-year journey with this, and then some. There's going to be more. And coming from someone that's coming up on 10 years in doing what they do, you are going to run into scenarios where you're going to unfortunately meet others that are like you or think that they're like you and want to try and do what you do, but if the job is not being done properly, or corners are being cut, then that's going to show. And I know from experience, even in this side of town, in the bubble, well, I know people that tried to do what I've done, or have attempted, and it's not so easy, is it? Anyways, moving right along.
Yep.
So with that being said, now let's go into a little bit of another fun portion before we log off here, because we do have another endeavor going on right after this that it's gonna be excellent as well. So 5 years, you're coming up on 5 years, and I'm gonna borrow a question from another individual. Shout out to Alec from the Clawson Chamber of Commerce. I'm a member there, and I also produce a show for them that's going to be dropping here pretty soon. So be on the lookout for that. But one of the questions that he asks his guests, which I really do like, and I think it adds a lot of insight. You're coming
excited.
Yeah. See?
Wow.
See, we evolve, we grow. We're not just all dark, even though I am wearing black and it is my logo. But so your 5-year journey coming up here, if you could give yourself advice when you were starting out, so if present day Sophia could go back and give 5 years ago Sophia any sort of words of wisdom on running and starting this company, what would that be?
Wow. Honestly, this is something I've never thought about. I will say
that's what we do. We make you think.
I will say, I didn't think about this question specifically, but I recently, when I first started this company, or even had the idea to start this company, I was 19. I was sitting in my dorm room. I made a list of goals, like short-term, long-ish term, and then like 5-year goals. I think I looked at that like a year and a half, 2 years ago. I had accomplished every single one of them. And I didn't even realize it because I did not take that step back to look at how far I had already come. I already had everything that my 19-year-old self had ever wanted, could ever even dream about having, And I think if I were to go back and tell her, I think I have a very specific thing, and then I have a like broader thing. I will say, be more confident in yourself, because you have something that is worth fighting for and worth keeping and worth having, and the community needs you. And that is something that I needed to hear. The second thing, because that was actually, there was my first ever instance of not being taken seriously was actually when I was about to, right when I was forming my LLC. I went to the lawyer. My dad drove me there. This man did not address me at all, only addressed my dad, did not take me seriously, tried to, trip me up in things that he thought I didn't know about. Like, do you need independent contractors or employees? I was like, well, we are independent contractors, and, I am going toe to toe with this guy. It's like, I know my shit, dude. But he made me feel like I didn't. And that was before I had even started the company. Our paperwork wasn't even filed yet. I needed him to do it. So I would say be confident in what you have, because you have something that is worth keeping, and this community needs it. Needs you.
I love that.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that. And I think also to elaborate on something that you just mentioned. So when you were in that lawyer's office, getting your LLC, and he's like trying to grill you and trip you up and stump you on a
19 by the way.
Yeah.
A 19-year-old girl.
So let's
talk about insecure.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go off of that 19-year-old age, and and where you were at that point in your life. I think what a lot of people don't maybe fully understand is, what the fuck were you doing at 19? Because I'll tell you what I was doing at 19. I was having a great time in college, doing some things that maybe that I cannot share on camera. You have to subscribe to the Patreon page. But the last thing that would be crossing my mind would be starting my own business, getting my own LLC. Like that was not even in the cards at that point in my life. And I probably can mostly guarantee that for a lot of you out there that are watching this and or listening to this, like, that probably wasn't in your hemisphere either. That probably wasn't even in the realm of your consciousness and your realm of your being. So for you to already have that determination of yeah, I'm fucking doing this, and I'm gonna fucking own it. Like, all the power to you. And so I think that's a huge testament already to the nucleus that is part of the World Princess Company and the Storybook Boutique. So yeah, mad props to you.
Thank you.
Well, I think I think we're going to end on that note, because I mean, what better way than to give some give some insight into, and not even just like to give that chat with yourself, but also for someone else that's looking to even think about not even just doing what you do, but just starting their own company.
Anything, yeah.
And especially if they're at a young age, like,
do it.
Yeah.
Why not?
Do it. And I would also say too, it's easy to give up.
Yeah.
And trust me, I know.
I thought I needed to close my company.
Which is so wild to me.
Yeah. So wild.
But don't give up. Don't give up. Keep at it. Keep refining it. And I think that's the thing, is after you refine what it is that you're ultimately wanting to do, how you ultimately want to help people, how you want to serve people. I think once you find what your niche, I guess, is, and I'm going to speak on, at least with my industry, like, I found my niche. Mm-hmm. I found the niche of video production, audio production, podcast production, SEO, ad and social media ad campaigns. Like, that's what I enjoy doing. That's what I love to do. And clearly you love doing this, because you have spent the last now almost 5 years building this empire. That's what you built, and it's only going to continue to grow. So as someone that's been that's been doing what they do for plus 5 years on top of what of how long you've been in. Like, you are doing all the things the way that you should be doing. So, mad props, mad respect.
Thank you.
So on that note, before we log off, I think it's very important now more than ever, now that we have a new endeavor that is the Storybook Boutique, this wonderful event space, this wonderful venue that you have acquired and made yours. How can people contact the Storybook Boutique? How can people find you? Are you on social media? Do you have an email address? Do you have a website? And then also follow that up with any and all ways that they can reach out to part of your World Princess company. This is the time. This is the ultimate shout out. Contact info. Let's hear it.
Absolutely. So we're actually still under the umbrella of Part of Your World Princess Co. So that is the same website, the same email. You can still reach me. We are a separate Instagram account. It is at the Storybook BTQ, because the Storybook Boutique was taken by some random person with like 100 followers.
Boo!
I was like, no!
How dare you?
How dare
you?
I'm like, how dare they not realize that I was going to start this business? But that is our Instagram. I'll send it to Walter to have it tagged below. And our new location is at the corner of Fleetwood and Mac in Grosse Pointe Woods. So that's my favorite joke to say when people ask where we are, Fleetwood Mac. You'll remember it.
I love it. I love it.
Love that. But yeah, our open hours as of right now are Wednesday through Friday from 12 to 6. So stop by, come see me, shop our retail. You can walk in. We also have like mini makeovers. We do glitter tattoos, all of that stuff. Stop in, see me. I'll let you know what we have to offer.
Well, absolutely. I love it. You heard it. This is to say that this is awe-inspiring for anybody, whether you are a business owner yourself that's, trying to find inspiration, or if you are just a shopper or a retail person, that just likes to explore new places to go to. Like, this is it. And Sofia has absolutely been a figurehead, a powerhouse in what she does, and it is, again, I think the best way I can describe it is it's just inspiring. Like, she's a Gen Zer, but I always say she has an asterisk next to her name in that Gen Z category, because I think you are truly a model for your generation and those that are also wanting to start their own business, or maybe are in like the throes of just starting their business. And so to have someone like yourself be a role model, be a rock for all things entrepreneurship and business owner, you have created something amazing, and it's only gonna continue to grow and evolve. So I am so thrilled and excited to see what you are going to continue to do. And I can't thank you enough for being on the program, and I hope you had a good time.
Yeah, absolutely, as always.
I love it. But that's gonna do it today. I'm Walter Hooper, owner of Hooper Marketing. Thank you so much for tuning into another riveting episode of Marketing Minds Meet. As always, you can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We're on social media, Hooper Marketing on Facebook, or actually on Facebook it's Hooper Marketing MI, Instagram at Hooper Marketing. As far as especially with our YouTube channel and Spotify, please follow and like and subscribe as well. It's free to subscribe, and please click that notification bell as well, and you'll get all things Marketing Minds Meet and Hooper Marketing notifications and updates that happen. But that's going to do it for this episode of Marketing Minds Meet. And once again, I am sitting here with the one and only Sofia Kirkman, owner of Part of Your World Princess Company and the Storybook Boutique in Grosse Pointe Woods on Fleetwood and Mac, or Fleetwood Mac. So thank you so much again for tuning in. This has been another episode again of Marketing Minds Meet, and we will catch you on another episode. Have a good one, everybody.